Indeed, and Super League have confirmed that the Magic Weekend will return to its natural home at Newcastle United St James Park for the 2020 season. The Magic Week, yay! The Magic Week, I think we're all happy with this. The Magic Weekend will be played at Magic Weekend will be played at St James Park on the May Bank Holiday weekend. The event had a 5-year stint in Newcastle between 2014 and 18, attracting record crowds in 2017. And Carsten says, I see you all drunk already, but it's good news as Liverpool obviously didn't work. Tom Andrews says, very happy at this. Been to every venue and this is by far the best. Baffles me when anyone says different. Loads of hotels, seats are decent, transport links, food, nightlife. Short of being at Craven Park, it's perfect.
You're obviously a big fan of the return to Newcastle as well. I enjoyed the weekend up there. When I only went to one Newcastle Magic weekend, but I really enjoyed the weekend, and I have booked a hotel, even though the prices are not as cheap as they might have been in the past. But there we go.
I am a big fan of Newcastle. Obviously, I've got local family links, so I don't have to book a hotel. A hotel. I can get the train to Hexham.
Stop gloating.
And I love Newcastle. I love the city of Newcastle. And I think I think the ground is exactly the right size for this, and being located where it is, right near the pubs and restaurants and everything. I think it's perfect for the Magic Weekend, and I can't wait.
And I felt like by the time I went in 2018, Newcastle knew about it and welcomed it and embraced it. Obviously, we only did 1 year at Liverpool, but it didn't feel like the city, the stadium, the football club, they were happy with it, but it didn't seem like the city cared about us being there. Whereas
they were more interested in the
us being there.
More interested in the marathon that day, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Hull KR. Right. This is Hull KR hour. Do you know what? I'll just do all the Hull KR stories, and then we'll see if we're as bothered as Tom Andrews is about any of them. Okay. So, Hull KR assistant coach James Webster has left, with Willie Poaching returning to the Super League club. Australian Webster, who's 40, has spent time with the Robins during his playing career before returning as interim head coach in March 2016. He's favourite to take over from Ryan Carr, who's left at Featherstone. New Zealander Poaching, 46, previously worked under Smith at both Leeds, Tony Smith at both Leeds and Warrington, and had a spell at the Robins under Webster in 2016. So obviously Poaching has worked a lot alongside Tony Smith, so a sensible appointment there as he gets the band back together. On a coaching side of things, on a playing side of things, everything's up in the air. The Hull KR have signed outside back Greg Minikin on a 2-year contract from fellow Super League club Castleford Tigers. The 24-year-old joins, having made more than 100 appearances for Cass. This is one of those worst kept secrets. Even Cass's own Twitter feed couldn't, or one of the club's own Twitter feeds couldn't quite keep this to themselves. Tom Andrews said, shock horror, an upgrade on what we had, so I'm happy in that sense. Not exactly a try-scoring machine, though. Hull KR have also signed Castleford Tigers forward Will Mayer on a 2-year contract. The 23-year-old, who has also had loan spells with loads of people in the Championship and League One, said that he was really excited to be able to work under Tony Smith. Tom Andrews said, if I didn't already know about the signing, I'd have to Google him. But young for a prop and eager to progress. Is a big body. He just needs to start getting some minutes on the field, Will Mayer, and I think he could be a success.
Is he that hugely tall fella that made his debut a couple of years ago?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
All right, yeah, he is a massive unit.
Yeah. They've also signed versatile outside back Nick Rawsthorne on a 2-year deal from the Toronto Wolfpack. The 24-year-old started his career with his hometown club Halifax, then joining Hull FC in 2017 and Toronto a year later, where he scored 27 tries in 34 appearances. Tom Andrews says, going to need a separate pod section with all these signings. Not sure where Rawsthorne fits into the squad except injury cover, which is nice to have, I suppose. Finally, on Hull Kingston Rovers, head coach Tony Smith says Jimmy the Kind Horse can seek first-team opportunities elsewhere. The Robins chief has also allowed youngsters Will Oakes and Elliot Wallace to move out on loan in 2020. And Tom Andrews says Tony Smith's epic rebuild continues. Jimmy K, while solid, is not spectacular. Oakes can't jump and has been found out every time he's been played. Wallace, coming back off injury, needs game time. With all the backs we have signed, they probably don't have places. Well, until our annual injury crisis comes back again by the second week in February. Alan, talk about someone who's not quite at Hull KR anymore, but still this news story will mention Hull KR.
So Leeds hooker Sean Lunt has announced he'll not be at the Rhinos next season. The 32-year-old was involved in a swap deal back in June, which saw Lunt join Leeds from Hull KR and Matt Parcell go the other way. Lunt's loan at Leeds expired at the end of the season, with the Cumbrian now exploring options elsewhere.
That means Leeds need a hooker. Because they've only got Dwyer. Well, and young Corey Johnson. But interesting.
Callum McClelland, maybe.
I've never seen him play there, so I'm not sure who's out on the market. Logan Tompkins is still on the market, isn't he?
It would be solid, if not not a spectacular season signing. But
interesting.
We'll
anyway, one to follow.
And Chris Green has made his move from Hull to Wakefield permanent after finishing the season on loan at Bellevue. Green, 29, played 4 games for Trinity and now moves on a 2-year deal.
London Broncos have signed former Leeds back rower Josh Walters from Featherstone on a 2-year deal. Walters, who's 24, made 61 appearances for the Rhinos, scoring the winning try in the 2015 Grand Final.
World Cup winning coach Tim Sheens has been appointed boss of Championship part-timers Widnes on a 2-year deal. Sheens, who guided Australia to World Cup success in 2013, arrives 5 months after he left Hull KR with them second bottom of Super League. A statement from Widnes said the 68-year-old's appointment is a huge step forward for a club that went into administration earlier this year. And Tom Andrews says, not a bad appointment for a part-time outfit. Coined the phrase Wisnes Vikings early doors. He's a nice bloke. So I'm glad he's got another gig. Just don't expect much expansive rugby from Widnes next season.
So, yeah, this news story blew my mind a bit. They can't afford to pay a wage that keeps Kieran Patil out of being a reserve coach in Super League, but they can find something to pay Tim Sheens, who he has coached in the Championship with Hull KR, so he has experience at that level, but they were full time. This has got him walking out after 2 months up written all over it for me, and I really hope that it's not the case, because I'd love Widnes to rebuild and be strong again, because we talked about, do we need Bradford? Well, one thing the Widnes area and the Widnes club, as well as the Widnes area, have produced is a lot of very good players in recent years.
Yeah.
A lot of good young Widnes players are getting snapped up by other clubs before they get into the Widnes system. Don't get me wrong, it's not just their system, but their system still is producing good players. So he's a good man to steer that ship, but do you think it blew my mind this way? It completely blew my mind anyway.
It came out of left field, didn't it, completely? It's not something I'd even thought about when Purtill moved on, that it would be Tim Sheens.
I don't even know if anyone else had. Where was the murmurings or the thoughts? No. Just crazy. Good luck to them all from my point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. York have signed prop James Green from Bradford for the 2020 season. The 28-year-old made 149 career appearances to date, having represented Hull KR, Lee, Castleford and Bradford.
Happy with that, Al?
Yeah, he can. Him and his high swinging arms can go do one.
He's a bit of a dirty bastard. I remember him smashing some Saints players' jaw at when he was at Hull KR.
So he deserved it.
Yeah. Burns was a bit of a tit, wasn't he? So.
Right. I think it's you, Al.
Wales international, Welsh names. Sion. has signed a new 3-year deal with Halifax. The front row will remain at the Shea until the end of the 2022 season, having made 13 appearances for Fax in 2019.
Never heard of him. Sean Pick has signed a new 1-year contract with Batley. The 26-year-old had made 47 appearances for Sheffield over the last 2 seasons, scoring 2 tries. Prior to playing for the Eagles, Pick played for Featherstone and Toronto.
York have retained the services of utility Matty Marsh for the 2020 season. The 24-year-old joined the Knights on a permanent deal from Hull KR ahead of the 2019 season, scoring 16 tries in 26 games in the Championship last term.
Halifax forward Kevin Leroy has signed a new deal for the 2020 season. 30-year-old made 31 appearances for Fax in 2019, scoring 3 tries. He also, well, not last year, but he also earned 14 caps for France.
Toulouse, staying on the theme if we're going to talk about ex-Hull KR players, Toulouse have confirmed 11 players that will stay at the club in 2020, including starman Mark Corella, captain Constantine Mika, formerly of Hull KR, and Junior Vaivai, formerly of Hull KR. The club have also confirmed that France international William Barteau, Ilias Bergel, Clement Boyer, Jordan Dazaria and Stanislas Robban have committed for next season. English forward Joe Breverton and Australians James Bell and Jonathan Ford complete the list. I thought James Bell was going elsewhere, so that's a good lot of retention, I think, for Toulouse.
Yeah, there was a bit of chat in the papers this morning about there being some sort of French magic weekend involving Catalan and Toulouse as well, wasn't there? Which would be quite interesting. But,
Catalan seem keen to take one of their home games to Toulouse. Now they're playing at the home ground of the rugby union side, aren't they?
Yeah.
So try and solidify relations there and all of that. And I suppose if people go to watch the Super League game that might not necessarily want to go and watch a Championship game, but go and watch both games and see how bloody fun it is to watch this Toulouse Olympics, then they might watch it a bit more. So it should be win-win. That it sounds like a absolute slam dunk.
Yeah, I'd hope they move the Saints game because I love Perpignan, but Toulouse is magnificent as a city. What a place to go that is, and the flights are easier. Championship grand finalist Featherstone have signed Craig Hall on a 1-year loan deal from Hull KR. Hall, 31, is a prolific point scorer with more than 200 Super League appearances under his belt. And Tom Andrews says, sad to see him go, but if you set sentiment aside, and man crushes if you ask Paige, he didn't perform back end of last season. Defensively poor, but Hull KR through and through, and you need a bit of that in your team.
You're not the only one around the SLP parts that has a man crush on him. Tim G has a especially soft spot for Craig Hall as well.
I quite like him too.
Oh dear. York have re-signed winger Perry Whiteley for 2020. Whiteley, 26, joined the City Knights from Keighley in 2018 and has scored 8 tries in 20 appearances last year.
A continuing concern of a story that we talked a bit about last week, but now Rochdale have no remaining directors after the final 4 handed in their resignations. Denise Dawson, Martin Hall, Mark Harris and Gavin Reynolds have all left the Hornets after several difficulties they uncovered since being elected back in July. And Gareth Walker's column in the League Express this week actually was dedicated to talking about the Rochdale shit show. Absolute mess that's gone on there. You'd think if there was 400 fans, then they might be able to all get on about how much they care about the club rather than wanting to all pull in different directions. So it's a baffling one there. Real worry though, I'd say, for Rochdale.
Yeah. It doesn't look like that one's going to end well, does it at all? Whitehaven have confirmed fullback Chris Taylor has signed a new 1-year deal with the club. The fullback or centre made 23 appearances for Haven last season, scoring 5 tries.
Oldham have appointed ex-Batley boss Matt Diskin as the club's new head coach on a 2-year deal. The 37-year-old will succeed. He's 37. will succeed Scott Naylor, who guided.
Only.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. 37-year-old will succeed Scott Naylor, who guided the Ruffians to promotion, ironically, into the Championship at the weekend in his 7th season at the club. A former Leeds and Bradford hooker, Diskin has recently enjoyed 3 seasons as head coach of the Bulldogs in the Championship. I don't think that's a bad signing.
Yeah, one former Bull replaced by another former Bull, so... Do you think that's going to be a good move for them? Bit of Championship experience?
Exactly. He's done a good job with a limited budget in the Championship before, so I don't see why he couldn't continue to do so.
Excellent. Doncaster